You bought those seats?
We didn't want anyone in front of us.
You did? Wow. Okay, so now I understand the demographic of Campbell, California. That's how that works out. They're like, listen, like when we fly places, we just buy the seats next to us. We don't need to deal with anybody else. I love being up here right now. I feel like I'm about to give a speech at the graduation at De Anza College. Like that's what this feels like right now. It's solid, it's solid. Are there any Latinos in the crowd? Any Latinos? Well, there's a few people who are just going to cancel themselves with that rolling tongue. Those were not Latinos. Those were people that live in Palo Alto who just thought they would participate. A lot of appropriation going on right there. My mother's Venezuelan, and anybody here friends with their parents on social media? I like the way this guy did it right here. He's like, yeah, need their financial support. Right? This is the South Bay. I need that help right there, so that's how that works. Me too. So here's the thing. My mom doesn't understand. She can't just tag me in every picture from my life, right? Without asking me first. Like, I'm not kidding you. My mom tagged me in a picture on Facebook after I'd had surgery. I'm not kidding. I'm in a hospital bed, right? There's a bedpan filled with urine next to me. Oh, yeah, right? There's an IV needle sticking out of my arm. I'm literally passed out in the hospital bed in the picture like this. Like. So what does my mom decide to do? She decides to stand next to the bed and take a picture like this. And I'm like, Mom, you gotta take that down. That picture's not flattering. And she goes, no, Michael, I cannot. This picture is very flattering. I look amazing. And that became her profile picture. Of course, and check this out. It was during the pandemic, right? So what did it have? Just a giant sticker around it that said, get vaccinated. Exactly, right? So everyone who came across this picture, they just saw my mom like this. With this sticker that said, get vaccinated. They saw me behind her passed out like that. And they're like, you know what? I better get vaccinated. Don't want to end up like that guy, that's for sure. My mom's now with her fourth husband. A couple people are wooing that. Apparently some people out there are also looking for their fourth husband. Based on that response right there. And people always go, they go, oh, you mean your stepfather. Let's settle down, right? This guy's the fourth husband, right? By that point, that's just a roommate with benefits. That's all that is. So I went, Mom, where's Arturo? And she went, oh, he's at the dentist. I said, okay, great. When's he get back? And she went, Thursday. Jesus, what kind of serious dentistry is this man going through? Because it's Monday, right? And I said, Mom, why Thursday? And she goes, oh, because he goes to the dentist in Tijuana, Mexico. I'm like, Mom, you live in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's like 8 hours away. Why does he go to the dentist in Tijuana? And she goes, Michael, it's cheaper. No. That's not how that works, right? It's cheaper to find a local dentist than to fly all the way to Tijuana. And my mom goes, Michael! Come on off of it! Yeah. I don't know what that means either. He does not fly, he drives. Even more absurd, right? I'm like, Mom, that's like a 12-hour drive. She's like, Michael, he has to drive. Because how else would he be able to bring back the package? What? And she goes, yes, Michael. Every month, Arturo goes to Tijuana to see the dentist. The dentist hands him a package. He drives it back here to Las Vegas. And we hold on to it for 4 days until a local dentist picks it up. Yeah. Some of you guys have seen enough Breaking Bad to know where I'm going with this, right? So I go, Mom, dentist doesn't mean what you think it does. Can you just be honest with me? Is Arturo a drug dealer? And she goes, Michael! That is a racist! Are you saying that because Arturo is Mexican? I don't want to be canceled. So I'm like, of course not, Mom. Jeez. I would never assume that. She's like, good, Michael, because I want you to know Arturo is no drug dealer. He's a drug mule. That's an applause break in this room right there, guys. That clap right over. Yeah, you can give it up, sure. Why not? Give it up, exactly. I like to force the crowd into giving applause breaks. That's great. I moved to the United States when I was 8 years old, and I didn't speak a lot of English when I moved here. I know, I'm also surprised by that statement. But it's true. And the first day of school, they brought me up in front of the entire school, right? Like at the school assembly. And they're everyone that are like, hey everyone! This is Miguelito. He just immigrated here. That's right. Miguelito is an immigrant. And the way he said it was really singling me out in front of all these kids, right? So they were like, did you just come here on a raft? It wasn't their fault, right? They just weren't exposed to anything, right? So that was because that was their idea of immigration. So one of the kids goes, where are you from? And I'm so nervous, right? So I look right at him and go, from? Caracas, Venezuela. Right? And this room of kids just went completely silent. Exactly like this moment right now. Because they had no idea where that was. They had no idea where that was. So this adult voice, he tries to save the day, right? In the back of the room, he looks at me and goes, hey, sorry, they've never been to Mexico. That was our principal. That's a public school education right there, guys. Right there. I'll talk about this with you guys here. I was traveling recently and I was doing a comedy shows and my phone broke. And I don't know about you guys, but I use my phone when I'm traveling to get out of awkward conversations, right? Anybody else agree with me on that? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? I'm sure, like this dude said something weird to you. You would just turn around and like, TikTok, Instagram, whatever I can do to avoid that, right? So I'm traveling and I'm doing shows in Orlando, Florida. And if you guys haven't been to Orlando, Florida, don't go. There's literally nothing of value in all of Orlando, Florida. And now you're saying to me, what about Disney World? Disney World's not in Orlando, Florida. It's literally like 45 minutes outside of Orlando, Florida. Orlando, Florida is just a bunch of Buca de Beppos and TGI Fridays. That's literally in a swamp. That is exactly what you get in Orlando, Florida. It's basically Concord, California. It's basically all it is right there. And so anyway, after one of the comedy shows, one of the local Orlandians comes up to me and he sees me. He's like, "Hey man, you were the comedian." And I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna go great." He's like, "Hey man, you want to hear something funny?" That never goes well, right? Has that ever gone well for you? When someone's been like, "Do you want to hear something funny?" No. So he does his whole thing, and he starts laughing. I go, "Oh, Trump, huh?" I guess. And I did this. Turned around, reached into my pocket, and pulled out my hand. With absolutely nothing in it. Because I had no phone with me, and that was my move, right? I was so used to doing that. So it took me a split second to realize I'm staring at an empty hand. And this guy can clearly tell that I'm avoiding talking to him. by just staring at my hand. So when you get caught in a situation like that, you have to justify it, right? Otherwise, you look like a crazy person. So I look at my hand with panic and say the first thing that comes to my head. I go, I think I have diarrhea. And you are absolutely right. He was done with the conversation. He took off so fast the opposite direction. Didn't have any more jokes for me. And first off, guys, I did have diarrhea. That's why it was on my mind. I don't know if you guys have ever had diarrhea before, but it's literally the only thing you can think about while it's taking out. It's very freeing to tell people that, you know, in that moment. And then I also learned a very valuable lesson. If you ever get stuck in an awkward situation in life, you don't need to pull out your phone. That's all you have to say. Right? Yeah, just say, I think I have diarrhea, and you can get out of anything in life. I don't care how life-threatening you think the situation is, right? I'll give you an example, okay? I'm a carjacker, okay? And I come up to you, and I'm like, get out of the car! And she looks at you and goes, I think I have diarrhea. I would be like, oh, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. I'll find another Honda Civic to steal. That's how that works out right over there.
I might have choose speeding ticket that line.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh my God.
It really works.
This is incredible. I thought I was the only one who's ever used this before. Apparently I'm stealing material from people in the second row. I feel like I need to give you royalties now, like some sort of percentage split of the Coca-Cola that I got tonight as pay. Last thing I'll tell with you guys here, I used to play professional soccer. Don't get too excited. Okay, sure. Don't get too excited, okay, until I continue. I played minor league soccer here in the United States. Yeah! Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are the most pro soccer crowd in all that I've ever performed in front of. Because most people go like, lower division soccer in a country that can't play soccer? This is not impressive to most people. But the sad thing is, when you're in your 20s, you are very insecure as a man, and you'll use anything to meet women. So I was down in Southern California, in LA area, about like 10, 12 years ago, and this woman was being kind of rude to me. And she was like, I'm sorry, what do you do? And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to place this vapid, shallow individual in her place. I'm like, what do I do? I'm a professional soccer player. Yeah, she changed her tune. She's like, oh my God, really? Megan, come over here. This guy right here, he plays professional soccer with David Beckham on the LA Galaxy. And that's when I had to be like, no, I don't. I play for the San Fernando Quakes. We play our home games at the local high school. They're Thursdays at 5 o'clock. Right before the JV football team takes the field. You're absolutely right, it's the school that owns the field pyramid. But if you ever want to get dinner with me, I get paid with a meal voucher every game. That's right. And it's good at Subway. I was actually lying to her because it was only good at participating Subways. Basically just the one that sponsored the team in Granada Hills, California. Oh man. I played 4 years professionally and then I retired. And people always go like, oh, why'd you retire after 4 years? Look at me. Think it was my choice? Right? Like I'm Ronaldo? So I'm always like, oh, why did I retire? Oh man, you know, here's the thing. After making hundreds of dollars a year, I just assumed, well, I clearly accomplished everything in this sport, right? So it's time for me to move on to something more challenging with my life, you know? Like performing comedy in a theater in Campbell, California to 54 people that are spread out sporadically in the theater. Give it up for that, guys. Come on, give it up for that. Yeah. Hey, guys, thanks a lot for paying attention. If you want to check me out, I got a special on Comedy Dynamics. I've got some little QR codes. I'll hand them out after the show. Or you can check me out at Michael Magid on socials. One more time for Joe Hill.